Hello, Braves country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming Hardcore Braves, and I got my two main guys on here, Ryan and Ben. How the heck are you, Ryan?
I'm tired. It's late. But we won the series, Ken, so I am a happy boy.
Yeah, how about you, Ben?
I can't complain. We went 6-4, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 6-2 in this homestand. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, we had 2-1 so far in this homestand. We're
I
all tired, guys.
but
All the
what's
games are
top?
catching up to. So what happens when you go off a West Coast trip, and then you're going to do this, and we got to do three podcasts in one night, trying to still get you all the content. But let me tell you something though. Y'all are telling us we can't give you enough. So we're going to keep bringing it to you, but we're trying to do our best. Remember, we all have real jobs. So I talked to Ben, 30, 45 minutes the other day. Y'all keep piling ideas, but understand we will get to them as soon as we can. But it's a gauntlet. So we do appreciate it. All right. So 3 game set, game one. Let's attack that. We win the game 4-1. Let's just start with I'm going to start with one of the hot top button topic items, and that's Grant Holmes. Grant did his thing. He went out 3 innings. He pitched well. Inning four, he looked okay, and then he hung a pitch to Bregman, who took it out of the ballpark. And whatever reason, and I was glad Grant finally addressed it. And I can't wait to hear both y'all's thoughts on this. But he kind of says he gets a little bit in his head a little bit, and he's throwing 40 pitches. He walks the bases loaded, and we got to go get him. So overall thoughts on Grant. I think we all knew for Grant told us the truth, but he's kind of he gets nitpicky when he gets up a big hit, and he's going to have to get out of that. Let's start with you, Ben. You're a big Grant Holmes fan, and which we all are. But what do you think's going on? He kind of addressed it a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad he finally addressed it. It's something that, and it's kind of cliche, but if you're gonna, the first step to solving a problem is admitting you have one in the first place. And Ryan, you might think that's funny, and it is cliche, but it is the truth. I mean, if you don't recognize something that's going on with you, then you're never going to be able to fix it. And I think that's a very good thing. But I pitched whenever I played, and I know I've shared stories about it on here before, but you gotta know whenever you step on that mound, you are the baddest MFer on the planet. You have to think that way. You cannot get in your head. You cannot think, well, Alex Bregman, who, by the way, is a perennial all star player, took me deep. It's like, okay, who cares? He hit one. He got lucky. All right, I'm about to strike every last one of these guys out on the other team. So I don't know. Grant stuff is good enough. He has the stuff. He just has to get the mental aspect of it down. And I'm glad he finally understands it's something he needs to work on.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll talk to Martin Perez because Martin Perez has thrown well enough. He did again this week. And the fact of the matter is, Martin could be anybody's fifth starter. Remember, he decided to come back to us to do what he's doing. So maybe a little talk to him because Martin's that veteran that can maybe talk to Grant and tell him, hey, look, you just got to go on. Your stuff is good enough. I know you want to be a starter, but if you end up pitching out of the pen, it's not no big deal. That'll help you be a better starter in the future. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't think it was anything that was a secret, right? We all kind of knew that he had the one inning where he would get in his head, he'd start nibbling, he'd start walking the entire ballpark, and then before you know it, he's out of the game because he's at 90 pitches there in the fourth or fifth inning. So, look, I mean, kudos to Grant for owning up to it, right? There's not many players who do that out in the media. They probably admit it to themselves or their teammates or their coaches, but you don't see it too often in the media. So tip of the hat to that. But with that being said, I still think, look, I love Grant. I've been a big Grant guy since he came on the pod. But, I think right now, I think it's best suit for the team and for yourself right now that you pitch out of the bullpen because you coming out of the bullpen for 2 or 3 innings, it's an automatic shutdown 2 to 3 innings. I mean, nobody's really scoring off you in those innings, and it's always the one inning where you walk somebody or somebody hits a ball hard, and that's when wheels start turning on you, and you just can't do that when things start going south. That's when you got to bear down and you got to get that FU mentality and go out there and I'm going to get these outs. So once you were able to flip that switch, I think you can see Grant really take off in the rotation. But right now, I think he's best fit for us out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and I think Grant has to look at who followed him in this game, and that's Didier Fuentes, who been struggling with his command, nibbling, whatever. We put him in the pen, and Didier just looks so much better. He goes out there and gives us 3 solid innings. And Ben, I think we're seeing the involvement of a 20-year-old is going to be a star for us down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looked electric. I mean, every time he goes out and pitches a game for the Braves, you can look at the velo charts on the next day, and it'll just be littered with Didier Fuentes fastballs. And I love the way that the Braves are kind of incorporating him. And I've said it before, but there was a certain left-handed pitcher on the Braves who came up and started out as a reliever, and now he's a what, Ken, $250 million man up in New
Yeah,
York.
yeah.
So just I say that to say don't worry if you're out there worrying about if Didier Fuentes is going to be a starter or not, because they're just trying to get him comfortable facing major league pitchers, and I think they're doing a fantastic job, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, and what do you think, Ryan? I mean, if Grant kind of talks to Martin and Didier and maybe get that mindset, I think it'll help because Didier's been aces for us since he went to the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Grant knows what it takes, right? He's done that before. He's been in the bullpen. He's been really good out of the bullpen, and then he was a starter for us. But I think he's just getting in his own head way too much. He's questioning whether he is, it's almost like when a rookie comes up out of AAA or AA or wherever he's pitching, and he comes in, he gives hitters too much credit, right? Like, oh, these guys, if I make any little mistake, they're gonna crush it. Big league hitters miss mistakes. I mean, it happens. They're going to miss mistakes. There's a reason why a good hitter's hitting 300, and it's because he misses the least amount of mistakes during the course of a season. So your stuff's good enough to get outs. It's good enough to be missed even when you miss over the middle of the plate. You got to attack the zone. If you get 0-1, 0-2, 1-2 on these guys, you're going to be a whole lot better than when it's 2-1, 3-1, 1-0. You can't keep getting behind the counts. You got to start attacking guys more consistently.
I agree. And then I hear y'all all the time. We all 3 agree. We do need another left-handed reliever in the bullpen. But all y'all keep saying, let's try to get somebody better than Dylan Lee. Guys, it's hard to find a pitcher better than Dylan Lee right now from the left side of the bullpen. Ben, he has been amazing this year.
I mean, among relief pitchers, I think he's only second to Mason Miller in FIP this year in like several categories. Which I don't know, if you're ahead of Mason Miller in anything, then you're just a stud. But no, Dylan Lee has been phenomenal, man, like a godsend, and he should be at the top of the boards, for All Star nod again this year. So I couldn't be happier with Dylan Lee.
Yeah, hopefully Dylan will finally get that invite because he actually done everything deserved. So, Brian, I'll let you talk about the other guy. There's a famous GIF, when you see this, it's too late, and he's been perfect this year. So, what do you think about Rossiel, Brian?
I love Iggy, man. I absolutely love Razel Iglesias. And I'm so happy that he's bounced back, especially after a really rough start to last year. He just looks good. He even used his slider, and he didn't hang it in this series, man. I saw that, and I was like, hot dang. Iggy's feeling himself when he's throwing sliders like that. So, changeup's looking really good. His fastball's been electric, and again, it's got that really good ride through the zone. And now he's starting to incorporate that slider. I mean, right now, besides Mason Miller, you probably can't find a better closer in the game. And if you do, oh yeah, he's probably pitching the 8th inning for the Atlanta Braves and Robert Suarez. So, look, the back end of the bullpen's lights out for the Braves. 7, 8, 9, good night. The night shift has returned to Atlanta.
It's amazing. I'm going to give you a stat from when we get to the game 2 about those 3. But real quick, let's get to the offense here. Pretty much 3 guys. We're talking the one guy, Don Smith's been good all year. 4 for 4, Big night for Dom. We all know we need to get him in the lineup. The problem is it's really hard to find right now, and with Drake being in there. The other two guys, though, Ben, Austin Riley, 2 for 4 with a home run. And Yaz, we've been waiting for the Yastrzemski to finally get it turned around. We three have been telling everybody, watch his at bats. His bats are good. He finally shows up, goes 2 for 2, 1 homer, and 3 RBIs. They were pretty much the offense, and they really did well.
Yeah, I know since the calendar turned to May, Austin Riley has been one of the best hitters on the Braves. I posted a tweet about it, believe today or yesterday, where I ranked, I showed his ranks among Braves hitters in the month of May, and granted, it hasn't been a super large sample size, but regardless, he's either first, second, or third in almost every category among Braves hitters, which is phenomenal. Oh god, I kind of
Yeah,
lost the train.
yes.
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, he needed game one so bad. He needed that. He needed to launch his first homer into the chop house. And hopefully we see at least 9 or 10 more of those this year.
Yeah, I think we will. Ryan, those three were the offense, and I know you're a big, big, thick fan, so you want to talk about him. But seeing Yaz get going was a good thing too.
Let me tell you how nice it's been to see my favorite player return to his form because everybody was talking mad shit about Austin Riley when it was not deserved. Okay, look, you can get on players, you can say that they're not doing too hot, but when you start saying they weren't worth the contract, we need to start trading them. I think you're starting to lose your daggone mind. But it's really nice to see Austin Riley, and I think more of a positive sign wasn't the home run. Yes, he turned on a 91-mile-an-hour sinker that was in off the plate and put it 385 feet out into the left field bleachers, but he also drove a sweeper that was painted down and away on the outside corner and almost parked it into the State Farm sign out in the bullpen, and Pete Crow Armstrong robbed him of a double. So I think that was the more positive sign, and I think the more positive sign for Yaz was him driving a line drive into left center field for that RBI single early in the game, and then the home run obviously is nice to see. But they're both of them are using the entire field again. They're not just trying to pull the ball and hit it out of the ballpark anymore. They're not pulling off. They're staying in it. They're using the entire field. So it's really encouraging signs, especially when our top three bullets are kind of starting to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, Ben.
As far as Yaz, using the whole field and everything, I think his calling card is pulling the ball. That's what he's made his money off of and his career off of for the past, I don't know, 5 years. He's become a pull air merchant, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but that's basically what the Braves signed him for, was to pull the ball. And I think earlier in the year he had that so much in his head that that's what he had to do. That's what he had to do instead of hitting the ball where the pitcher threw it. And I think now that he's relaxing a little bit more and he's able to actually be a hitter rather than just who everybody wants Mike Yastrzemski to be, basically. But I was just wanting to point that out, that him pulling the ball in the air is a beautiful sight, but it has to be in the right context of what the pitch is and that sort of thing.
Well, you got to go to the chipper thing, though. Like he tells them all the time, he tells Austin, you want to pull the ball out of the ballpark, you better be able to hit the ball the other way when it's away from you. And that's what Yaz is doing, and that looks good.
Yeah.
So 5-2 victory. We go to Wednesday night. We're going to put the kid on the mound. He's starting to become a hot topic item. I don't know why, because he's done nothing but pitch well. Yes, chat, we know. He gets his pitch count up. One more time, he is a rookie. Okay, he's a rookie. So I'm tired of answering those questions. He will get there. I'm talking to you, Jason Reese. He's going to get there, and he's going to go deeper in the count. I don't need a text every time that he's walking people. He knows he's walking people. I actually thought he threw the ball pretty well against a lineup other than PCA and Dansby, who me and Andrew broke down in the series preview, are two guys that we want to go after as pitchers with off speed and get the ball out of the zone. I thought J.R. Ritchie threw well again. I believe he's going to get there. He's going to be a really good player, Russ, a number 2, 3 starter for the future. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I covered this in my my breakdown of J.R. Ritchie, and his command is not the best. It's never been the best. He's always been around a 3.5 to 4 walk per nine guy. And I know per nines are not usually the best. You'd rather use percentages, but I just know his per nines a little bit better. But you're gonna have some of that with him. He's not gonna be filling up the zone as much as you may want him to. He may be a 5 and dive kind of guy, or maybe even 6 innings every once in a while. But regardless, he is a very good pitcher. He's very talented. He does have a good feel for all 6 pitches in his arsenal. The fact that he misses the zone a little bit more than you want him to is a much better problem to have than to say he just doesn't have the stuff. Like if he didn't, if his stuff wasn't there, then that's not as easily fixable as, hey, buddy, throw the ball to the mid, you know? So, Richie, he did throw good, but there is definitely room for improvement.
Yeah, I think even Ben's will be a little bit hard. I don't see anything as a former pitching coach. There's anything that worries me. Now, if he was 28 years old, been in the league 3 or 4 years, I'd probably worry about it. I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
Ben. He's
No, no,
struggled like that all the time. I just think I walk on Twitter. That's the reason I don't like to look on Twitter, because I don't think they're comparing this pitcher who's been in the league 3 years with this pitcher who's got 4 starts. To me, they're not compatible. And I don't really care what you do in the minor leagues. You want to go see how bad control is in the minor leagues? Go watch a ball game, and you'll watch grass grow, because some of these kids walk way more than that. So
yeah.
I agree with Ben. He's
Well,
got to get better. I don't see him as a 5 and dive guy. I see him as the guy that can lock down and get in the rotation. He reminds me a lot of some guys that we had come up in our arsenal that had problems too. And after he got a good year under his belt, he was able to throw strikes. So hopefully he will. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, look, I can't stand walks, but at the same time, I understand he's a young kid, right? I mean, he's got what 3, 4 major league starts under his belt right now, and the fact that everybody wants to crucify him is a little bit ridiculous at this point. Ben, I'm not saying you're crucifying him. I'm saying Braves Twitter crucifies him.
Yeah.
But like, he's young. He's gonna have mistakes. He's gonna have hiccups, and I think both times when he started really getting walks is when he was tired. You know, Walt put him back out there in an inning that was questionable in Seattle, and I think you can kind of say is maybe a little bit questionable here in the Chicago series, because he was starting to kind of show signs of fatigue, and when he shows signs of fatigue, he really loses his own. I think two or three of his 4 walks or whatever the total was came in his last inning that he pitched. So he's not terribly walking everybody during the course of a game. Most of it's coming when he's fatigued. So, look, he had a lot of deep counts as well. I mean, you would like for him to finish those counts earlier, but you got to understand the Cubs offense, I think, is one of the most patient in all of baseball too. So, I mean, he did good. He did good against a pretty good offense. So cut him some slack, chat.
Yeah, I like to point out real quick too. He has got his major league opening debut, his home debut. He goes to Seattle in his home, and then he gets Imanaga in a game that everybody says he's got to hold him to 1 run. So we haven't gave him the easiest landing spot in the major league. So we'll see how he does. Ben's right. He's got to get it under control. Or one thing I think even Ben points out, he doesn't give in though, and that's good. He's not just laying it in there for a home run. So get to the back end of the bullpen. We'll get to how we won the game on offensively. But the 7, 8, 9 guys got the pitch in this: Lee, Flores, Iglesias, and let you know between them this year, combination, they have a 0.40 ERA. Ben, that dog will hunt.
hey, you ain't lying. That dog will hunt. Robert Suarez, I think, is the only one who's given up runs, isn't he?
Dellins gave up 1, and Suarez has given up 1, 2. So
Yeah.
that's
I mean, if you're giving up runs, I guess that's uncool now. So they gotta tighten it up. All right, no, they've been nails, man. That bullpen. I saw Brady today tweeted about the 2010 2011 the O'Brent what is it
Oh, Ventral.
Ventral
Ventral days.
Yeah.
And You know, that was like the first viral tweet that I ever had was talking about those guys. And it's fun to see that we're finally getting that same kind of trio in the back end of our bullpen again.
It's amazing, Ryan. What about them 0.40 ERA this year?
The game's over.
Yeah.
I don't know there's no bigger compliment than it was last night, Ken, when me and you were sitting there texting back and forth. Man, you weren't even worried about it. I like as soon as those three guys came in with the game tied, it didn't matter if there's guys on base. I wasn't worried about it. I knew they weren't scoring. I mean, it felt like that. And if they do score, you're like, oh dang, they scored against them. Like I was not worried in the slightest last night whether we were going to win or not. And that I haven't had that feeling about the Braves bullpen in some years now. Even back in 2021 when we won the World Series, there's some questionable cats in the bullpen, but this back end's probably the most lockdown it's been since those eventual days.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And even in the one inning when Kenley comes in, um, everybody lost their gasket on him. He got the ground ball. There it is right there. He was supposed to get. If that's 4 foot to the right there, that's a double play ball, and they're out of the inning. So Kenley did what he got to. He got 3 ground balls, and he got out of the inning. They just happened to get in between in that situation. Go to the offense. Drake gets a home run, which is always a good thing. He's been kind of struggling. We all know that, but Drake always finds a way to do something productive even when he's struggling. Ben talks about it all the time. You just do not see this guy going to go into a massive slump, and that's why you see it hits a home run and makes it 1-1. He's just a special player, isn't he, Ben?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been singing his praises since 2023,
Yeah.
2024. And it's very fun to see how he's progressed. He's one of the better hitters in baseball, not just hitting catchers, but one of the better hitters. And like I've always said, contact, he can make contact with the best of players. And now the leadoff spot for Baldwin, I don't see that being the best option for him. But overall, he's a fantastic hitter and he's a very special player.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a perfect number 2 hitter, and I think that's where they want him. Now, Ryan, before we get to how we took the lead, Imanaga was outstanding for them, and you had pointed out on the Braves hip coil how good he would be and how tough he was. I thought it was maybe his best start of the year. How about you, Ryan?
It was by far his best start of the year. I don't think there's a question about it. And I said in the hip cool, I said if he starts painting the bottom of the zone with his fastball, it's going to be a very long night for the Atlanta Braves hitters, and that is exactly what happened. He started painting the fastball at the bottom of the zone, and what does that do? That sets up the tunnel with his split. So he was fastball and splitting these guys to absolute death last night. And when you get to that point, it just becomes a guessing game. Is it a fastball? Is it a split? And for every single soul on my tweet today that I pointed out that they grinded the at bats, so no, they didn't. You know, he only had 90 pitches and he pitched 8+ innings. Well, yeah, he only had 90 pitches because they were like, you know what? I'm trying to pick on a fastball early in the count the second time through the lineup because they didn't feel like waiting on the split that was going to strike them out. So there's different ways you grind out at bats. These guys adjusted the game plan to the best that they could, and they still put up good at bats against a dude who had his A+ stuff and his A+ command. So the lineup did a good job. I know they didn't run the pitch count up, but when somebody's got that kind of stuff going, you do the best that you can. They did the best they could. They kept the game tied, pitching. So hats off to the pitchers. And then they found the 1 weak link in the bullpen that night, and they did not miss him, Ken.
Yeah, and the other thing that this team, it was brought a question up to us today, which is better, the 26 Braves or the 23 Braves? And me and Ryan both said this team because of the versatility and the fact of our bullpen, the back end of the bullpen's better. But also, people always say strikeouts don't matter. Michael Harris just puts the ball in play. One of the best defensive second basemen in the game, Nico Horner, rushes. He didn't have to rush that play, by the way. Gives us an error, and that's what gave us the chance to win. And then Mike Yastrzemski got the big hit on a hanging sweeper, which he had been swinging through. I saw some of you on Twitter say, "Oh, it's a hanging sweeper." Well, he'd been missing that pitch, and he put it in play, gives us a run, and then gives us the lead. What do you think about us being able to manufacture runs? I know we've talked about it before, Ben, but this team looks like it can do that, and that's a nice sign as we get into the postseason.
Yeah, and going back to the 2023 versus 2026 tweet, I really do think that that is the biggest difference in this 2026 team is the 2023. As much as I love that team, they did solely rely on the long ball. They relied on power. They relied on being able to drive the ball out of the ballpark. And while that is nice, if you can do it, there will be a time that comes where your big guns are not going to be hitting homers. You're not going to be, driving the ball out of the ballpark like you were in, May, June, July. Um, but if you can scratch, claw, and fight across 2, 3 runs, well, that's good. That can make the difference between winning a playoff series and going home in the first round. Um, and so I think that that's probably the biggest difference in this 2026 team, and that's why it makes them better. And it's just such fun to watch. Because I mean, even guys laying down sacrifice bunts, like didn't Michael Harris lay one down a
Yeah,
couple days ago?
yeah,
Just watching stuff like that is incredible. They're playing as a team. They're doing whatever it takes to win, and that's something that we can't say that we've seen from them for the past couple years, and I love to see it.
yeah. It's great, and Ryan, get you in on here. Part of that versatility we got is Mauricio Dubon. We're going to have to give him extended or either build a statue. I don't care which one we want to do, but I think the extension will be cheaper for us. Let's do that. He had a 2-run homer. Um, just him alone, his versatility has really added to this team, hadn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, the attitude, right?
Yeah,
God, I love his attitude. He's just such a dog, dude. He goes in there, he grinds out his at bats, he has his plan, he sticks to it. He has the two-strike approach that we saw in Colorado when, he's facing one of the better relievers in all of baseball and Jaden Hill and punches a bases clearing triple that gave us the lead. It just seems like every time we need Dubon to come up in a big spot, he always comes up. It doesn't matter if it's defensively, if it's offensively. He's just been the spark that this team needed, and I feel like the attitude that he brought is what we needed in that locker room. The I don't give a bleep. I'm going to go out there and beat you every single night, and not just beat you. My goal is to absolutely just embarrass you every single night. And that's the attitude. And by the way, getting back to Yaz on the hanging sweeper, that's the dang pitch you want to hit, chat. You don't want to sit there and wait on the one that's breaking down and away off the plate to try to hit it. You want the one that pops out of the hand. My God, that's hitting 101.
yeah, it really is. And I love Dubon's what he's saying. I may butcher this, Ben, so if you can help me here. What does he always say? He told the Braves when he showed up, he tells everybody, watch me. It's always watch me. And he can just do anything. It's amazing. So that's enough. We won the 2 games. We're not going to spend a lot of time on game 3 because sometimes you have to do this, guys. The Cubs had decided they were not going to lose 5 in a row. And Ben Brown was the biggest part of that. He pitched well. For us, Chris Sale was Chris Sale. He went 6 innings, had 8 strikeouts, gave up a run. Hassan Kim rushes a throw to second, kind of helps him get the run. Reynaldo comes in. Reynaldo and Bummer actually threw the ball okay today. Reynaldo did hang a pitch. Ian Happ did not miss it. But if you only give up 2 runs as a start staff, you should win the game. The offense was just held down. Ben Brown, and then Maton pitched well, and Palencia come on 4 days rest, and he looked at he's throwing 101 over 101 miles an hour. We were 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. I don't really have a lot to say about this. We'll just go to each one of y'all. Ben, you can start. I just think it was just the Cubs nights, and as Brian Snicker used to always say, it's just one of those nights.
And by God, this time I'm completely okay with hearing it was just one of those nights because it got to the point last year whenever Brian was saying that. I'm like, brother, is this record broken? Like, do I need to go to the store and get another one? Because this is the same thing I'm hearing every night. Um, but no, like the people I've seen who are complaining all day or all game about this stuff, it's like, listen, the Cubs were coming into this series as the second best team in baseball. not the National League Central, not the National League, all of baseball. So being like, and you just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers in LA. So you're telling me you got a 4-2 stretch against in 6 games against 2 of the best teams in baseball, and you're going to sit here and complain that they didn't sweep? It's like, come on, man. Hey, it's ridiculous. Um,
It is.
no, this game 3 is like y'all said, just that's all you got to do right there. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
flush it,
Exactly.
move on, get ready for Miami.
Boston. We got Boston this weekend.
Boston, golly, it's late, man. Wait,
It's
that's
late
my
for us.
bedtime.
It's late for us. Yeah. So we got to get the Red Sox in here. All right, real quick, Ryan. We talked about him on Hip Coil. Here's the other thing about the Cubs. The Cubs play some of the best defense in baseball, and even in this game, Dansby probably had his best defensive game of the series. He made play after play. They played well. But you talked about Ben Brown on the hip coil. He's nasty, and they're trying to. They really want him to be in the bullpen, but they're because of injuries to Boyd and them. He's having to start. He throws 98 up here, and he throws this knuckle curve down here, and we did not lay off that pitch, and he really deserved the win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to be nitpicky about my offense tonight, I will say that they didn't follow the game plan to a T, right? I said, look, he's going to start that breaking ball at the bottom of the zone and it's going to fall out. You got to lay off that pitch. That's why we got to hunt the fastball belt high to like high thigh. Everything else, you got to let it go if it's low. They didn't let it go today. They started chasing, and you saw what happened. Ben Brown carved him up for 4, 5, 6 innings, however long he stayed in the game. But at the same point in time, man, I mean, it wasn't just one hitter. It was every hitter in the lineup that was chasing that pitch. So that tells me that the pitch had really, really tight spin and it was really, really hard to pick up. So, sometimes a dude's just got your number and he's absolutely throwing the piss out of the ball. So you just got to tip your hat to him. I mean, we only had 5 chances with the runner scoring position tonight. I think that's all you need to know about how good the Cubs pitching was. And the Cubs pitching didn't make many mistakes, and the few that they did make, we missed them. There's going to be nights where you miss mistakes. It happens. And, you know, you won 2 out of 3 from the second best team in all of Major League Baseball, and you're really going to sit here and nitpick. And for the person who said that Ha-Seong Kim shouldn't be the starting shortstop and that Mateo should be getting reps, can you please just shut the F up? That's the most ludicrous statement I have ever seen in my life. Look, I like Mateo. Mateo's been a really good, versatile player off of the bench. That is his role. That's where he fits. That's where he thrives, as being a really good utility player, not a starting shortstop. Ha-Seong Kim showed what he could do, especially with the Atlanta Braves last year in the second half. He was like a 720 to 740 OPS shortstop. That's what we need. He's going to be a solid glove. He had an oopsie poopsie today. It happens. Can you just lay off of him? People can make mistakes. We're all human. Just, my God, have some common sense.
Yeah, I agree. And if somebody's going to be the starting shortstop, if it's not Ha-Seong Kim, it's going to be Mauricio Dubon. So let's go ahead and put Mateo. He's on the bench. Real quick, let's address it before we get to the play of the series, MVP of the series. I just want to get your. Not anybody's really said anything, but I know eventually we know how Braves Twitter works, and it may. Ozzy is too for his last 26. I think he's actually put the ball. Tonight he hit the ball hard a couple of times. Ben, anything to worry about, or is this just one of those natural progressions a player has during the season?
Natural progression a
Yeah.
player has during the season. There was no way, and I hate to be negative or sound negative. There's no way Ozzy Albies was going to hit 320 or 330 over the course of an entire season. That's just not his game. And it sucks that it's coming at a bad time, but hey, they're a tough stretch of games and everything. But I mean, we got 2 lefties coming up in the Boston series, and so if Ozzy's going to break out of his slump, I'm saying too much. I think it's just a natural progression to shorten up the answer.
Well, here's the deal. Before you, Ryan, talk about it, they were 5-4 during those games. So,
Mm.
and against 3 teams, the Mariners, the Dodgers, and the Cubs, who I think, and I know Ryan, you do think they're going to all win their divisions. That's 3 playoff teams. They went 5-4 again, Chad. 5-4. against 3 playoff teams. And if you'd have told me before this stretch of 9 games we could go 5-4, I would have took it in a heartbeat and got out of there. Ozzie going 2 for 26 is another good sign that we were able to win those games. So what do you got to say about the little monster? I think he's going to bounce back. How about you?
Yeah, he's fine. You know, when Ozzy struggles, it's really him just getting out on his front side again and just lunging at the ball too much, and that's what he's doing. His head's moving too much. He needs to stay back in his backside and let the ball travel and start driving the ball the other way. Which, again, like I pointed out in the hip coil, he smoked 2 baseballs today. Absolutely pissed all over the ball. Dansby made a great play at shortstop. Michael Bush made a fantastic play on the one to him. You tip the hat, and if Ozzy has those 2 hits today, we're probably not even hearing about it tomorrow. So I'm not worried about the little monster at all.
Yeah, me neither. And again, chat, we keep telling you, if you don't believe us, pull up the rankings. The Cubs are the best defensive team in baseball. So they made a lot of good plays this series. We're moving on. We got to do the play of the series. It's really hard to find one here, Ben. I mean, it's just one of those really good baseball series. There's not really anything dynamic, but I'm sure you got one in there. What's your play of the series?
You know, it is hard to find one, but I think my play of the series is gonna be the Mauricio Dubon 2-run homer. I Braves needed some insurance runs, and I think that really sparked them, to really finish out the game because it was a hard fought battle in game 2. So. Good for Mauricio Dubon, and it might be the unpopular choice, but that's my play of the
No,
series.
I always like Dubon. How about you, Ryan? Play of the series.
I got 2. The one that is going to be the Yaz go ahead, what was it, 2-run double or something that he hit. I'm giving him that one and his RBI single to tie it. Those are my plays of the series. I'm giving Yaz some love because y'all have crapped on him for the last month and a half. So there's my love to Yaz.
They really have crapped on him more than any player I've seen in a long time since B.J. Upton and
It's been between him and Austin Riley here. It's been a front
no,
running race.
I don't see the death threats going to Riley. I know you're a big Riley fan, but the death threats to Yaz has been ridiculous. And I keep trying to remind everybody out there on Twitter, that's a crime, guys. Stop doing that. Stop doing it. Even if you're joking, that's a crime. My play of the series, I'm going to go with Ben Brown. We don't always have to pick a brace. I think Ben Brown had to pitch a good game for them, or they were going to be in trouble and get swept out of Atlanta. So we'll give Ben Brown a little love. I thought he was outstanding, and so I'll go to play the series. Huh?
Said
I
boo.
know, I know. The pitching coach in me, Ben. I mean, I went with Ben. So,
He was nasty as hell. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
thought you might like it, Ben, because his name was Ben. I thought you may give me that one, so that's okay. All right, MVP of the series, Ben.
Yes.
Brian.
Yaz, Yaz.
Yes. Yes, we've been waiting him to have one of these moments, and he did. So anybody says other words, just ask Mauricio Dubon. Mauricio Dubon even said yes, so it is yes. All right, let's go get the Red Sox. Here they come to town. Weird team. Weird team. They should be way better than their record. They got a lot of good young players. They're going to throw 2 young left-handers who are really tough in Early and Tolley. And they may throw a bullpen game on Sunday. They haven't really decided, or we'll see who goes. They have 2 lockdown guys in the 8th and 9th inning, as we found out from Palencia tonight. We probably don't want to get to that point. So, how do you think we're going to do in this series, Ben? And who's your guy you think is going to be the guy that's going to carry us?
Well, I kind of went into this a little bit more than I wanted to in the last segment, but Ozzy, I think he's going to put all the extracurriculars to rest. You know what, Ryan? What?
You eavesdropped on my hip coil. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, listen, they're
Ben has his
facing
sources.
they're facing 2 lefties in this series, and they have Chapman in the back of the bullpen, who's also a lefty. We all know Ozzy is loves to face a lefty on the mound, so we it's a good setup for Ozzy Albies to have a good series and get back on track. But as far as my prediction for the series, oh God, am I gonna say it?
Don't say it.
Am I gonna say it?
Don't say
Braves
it.
are gonna Braves are gonna break out the brooms. They're
Oh,
gonna.
God. This is the
They're
series.
gonna sweep this
This series.
series.
This is the series I worry about us losing, Ben. So if they sweep, I'm going to be a happy camper.
Hey, a lot of people are worried because Ronald's not going to be there. So I mean, it is what it is, man. But I think the offense can carry it. They had their little struggles against the Cubs, in this series. They didn't score a ton of runs, so I think they're better due for a bounce back.
How about you, Ryan?
As you have already heard, Ozzy was my pick to click. So I'm going Ozzy. A lot of the same reasons. He's going to face left-handed pitching, so hopefully he can get comfortable and just work on staying back and driving the ball back up the middle hard. And I'm going 2 out of 3. I think, like I said, I think we're going to run the pitch count up on one of the two young bucks. We're going to get in the bullpen, and they don't even know what they're going to do for Game 3. We've heard rumors of a bullpen game, and if that's what they're going to do, God bless every bullpen arm in that Boston Red Sox bullpen. That's going to be a long day against the Atlanta Braves offense.
I'll go 2 out of 3. I hope Ben's right. If we could have a 5-1 homestand after that road trip, that would be beautiful. I do think if we can get Ben to their bullpen early on Friday and Saturday, I think there's a possibility Ben could be right. But I'm gonna go 2 out of 3, and I'm gonna go with a guy who none of us picked this year, but I'm gonna finally pick him. We probably could have won one of these pick to clicks. I'm gonna go with Mauricio Dubon. Mauricio Dubon does a really good job against Heater, other than the night against Palencia. He looked overmatched, but Palencia decided that game was going to be over. Hey, Dom Smith hit the ball hard, and Austin put a base hit on, so that's a good sign for the Braves against their closer. But I think Mauricio Dubon will have a good series. He'll spread out, and as his name, watch me. He's going to have a good series. So watch me. He'll have a good series. So, all right. So we're going to have to get out of here. We do appreciate you, but we're going to give you everything we got coming. We're trying to give you as much content. Start with Ben. He's at Weaver_cards. He's got Ben's Baby Braves. He's got a YouTube channel. He's everywhere. Ben, what you got rolling for us here soon?
Yeah, Sunday we're going to be releasing the new Ben's Baby Braves over 2023 international free agent signing, who is finally staying healthy and coming into his own, Luis Guanipa. So I'm very excited about that. And it'll be releasing on Hardcore Braves and my own personal accounts on Sunday.
I'm looking forward to that. I was excited when he told me he was going to do it. And Lethal's going to do something for Tuesday. And I know y'all two are also talking, Ben, about maybe doing a midseason top 30 prospect list. Is that still in the works?
Yes. So come mid-season, I know a lot of publications are introducing their new updated list after graduating a few prospects. But me and Lethal, we really want to wait till mid-season so we have a full, like a good large sample size of these guys just to see. We want to make sure that we're giving you guys the most informed opinions that we can possibly give without just kind of flying by the seat of our pants and doing the what have you done for me lately type of stuff. But yeah, other than that, my final thought, fun fact. Two Braves are leading the Carolina League, the A-Ball League, in home runs, and one is Tate Southacene, and the other one is Luis Guanipa. So they're leading their league in homers, and Tate's leading the league also in stolen bases.
Very good.
How about that?
Yeah, Tate had another hit today. He's on a really good roll. All right, so we'll go to Ryan. Ryan's at Braves Homer 27 at Braves Hip Call. He has a YouTube channel. He's on X. He's on TikTok, guys. Well, and so begrudgingly, yeah. So what you got coming up, and what's your final thought tonight?
Well, we do the hitters meetings every series, so that'll be dropping sometime tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon, probably around lunchtime, so y'all can check out and get prepped for the Braves Red Sox series. I don't know if I'm going to do any hitter breakdowns right now. Life is very hectic, and sometimes some things got to take a little bit to the back burner. So, and we're producing a lot of content with the hitters meetings, with these podcasts and everything else coming out. So I do want to do an Austin Riley update, but I also want to get a little bit more run time for Austin just to see, you know, get a little bit larger sample size just to make sure the stuff that he is doing right now sticks, because Big Thick does have the tendency to not stick with things very long, but this looks really, really promising since it's been 2 weeks and it's consistently gotten better. My final thought is the Braves' offensive ranks after the game 2 in Chicago. Are you ready for this? They're first in runs at 235. They're first in OPS at 785. They're first in batting average at 272. They're first in total bases with 666. They're second in homers at 60. And then their defense has been absolutely phenomenal. They are first in runs allowed only at 144. They're first in batting average against at 205. They're top 10 in errors with only 17. So, and total bases allowed, they're second in 470. So, pitching, defense, offense are absolutely legit for this team.
There's a reason why they have the best record in baseball, and they do everything well, and they have got really good manager and a really good general manager, so it should be good all season. For me at Boyd PC, me and Andrew do our series preview from the pitcher standpoint. We'll look at the Red Sox hitters. It'll come out on Friday to get you ready. And, of course, we'll do the one for the Marlins. Here's the deal. They're on a 13-day stretch, so we love the fact that you can't get enough of us, but remember, we are just got our jobs and everything, and we'll keep hammering it for you. But if you miss a day, one of us will have something out that day. Trust me. And so we always try to make something's coming out. Ben's done a really good job the last 2 days giving you some notes. It don't always have to be a video from us. I know y'all think we're all so sexy and good looking. You want to look at us, but it's unless it can just be a tweet. So Ben's doing a good job. If you can check out his TikTok, he had a couple of funny things on TikTok lately. He's doing some stuff with Aaron, so check her out, Aaron on Deck. And again, Andrew's on Hot Atlanta Highlights, and we do appreciate y'all. And as always, we love you, Braves country, and we are out. Peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.